What's going on, Washington Commanders Nation? It is Thursday, April 3rd, and we are officially 3 whole weeks away from the start of the 2025 NFL Draft. The HBO Hard Knocks rules have been altered a bit, and there's no better team in the league to be featured on Hard Knocks than our Washington Commanders, and I'll tell you why. Washington just signed another Pathway International player. A couple players on the team changed numbers, and Washington officially released its off-season training dates. Let's talk about it, man. How are y'all doing during this off-season? We are in the dire dog days of waiting for the NFL draft to begin and end. Once it goes, it's going to be a long couple months until training camp start, but once training camp gets going, then we're really off to the races for the 2025 season. But nothing huge happening in Washington land, but some things to catch up on. I'll be going live tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. to do mock draft mania with y'all. We'll do some trade backs. We'll try some trade ups, and we'll stick and pick, and we'll mock draft for about an hour or two tomorrow afternoon. Hopefully get you through y'all work day or whatnot. But HBO just changed some of the qualifications of a team that can be forced to do Hard Knocks in 2025 and beyond. According to the new rules that have been loosened on which teams can be forced into it, teams with a first-year head coach still cannot do it. Teams featured in that season's in-season edition Hard Knocks, which covered a full division, so no one from the AFC North, and teams that were on Hard Knocks in the last 8 years. So from 2017 to 2024. So the teams that cannot be forced into Hard Knocks next year are teams with a first-year head coach, teams that were featured on it in the last 8 years, and anybody that was on it last year, the in-season version, so the AFC North. That cuts out a good majority of the league. There was a previous rule that if you were a playoff team within the last 2 years, but it's gone now. Now, a team like Washington is still eligible for Hard Knocks. Let me see if I can get the list. This is the list of all the teams that could be forced into doing Hard Knocks for the 2025 season since they loosened the rules. Because I know the list last year was very short. It was like 4 teams. Now it's pretty long. It's the Arizona Cardinals, the Atlanta Falcons, the Baltimore Ravens, the Buffalo Bills, the Carolina Panthers, the Cincinnati Bengals, Broncos, Packers, Texans, Colts, Chiefs, Dolphins, Vikings, Giants, Eagles, Steelers, 49ers, Seattle Seahawks, Tennessee Titans, and our Washington motherfucking Commanders. And I have been waiting my entire life to see Washington featured on Hard Knocks. And for probably justifiable reasons, Washington's never been featured on Hard Knocks. I would really prefer us to not do this until we have a new team facility and new stadium, but it is the perfect time for Washington to be featured. It's a good thing that the cameras were not around when Daniel Snyder was running shit over here. Bruce Allen and all the circus-like theatrics over the years. It's probably a good thing. We probably dodged a lot of bullets not being on there. But how about now? Washington comes into year 2 of the Josh Harris, Adam Peters, Dan Quinn, and Jaden Daniels regime, an era of DC football. The return to prominence, the return to relevance. We got our swagger back, and we became a more than relevant fixture of the league. It's probably going to be well represented when the schedule gets picked out in May, when Washington has 5 or 6 primetime games coming off years where they had to force us on Thursday night just to give us a primetime game. We are actually a primetime team now, and we have one of the players in our quarterback that the league wants to market to the fucking world. Like, I literally seen something the other day about how they may be trying to get a Abu Dhabi or Dubai game at some point, and I saw Jaden on the damn marketing campaign for that. The guy's going to be everywhere. He's a superstar, and Washington's doing business the right way. This is like the first time in my life. No, it's not like. It is definitely the first time in my life where people actually take this team serious. People want to see this team succeed, and we actually have good people running the show. Everyone loves Dan Quinn and Adam Peters, and everyone loves our quarterback. Everyone but Philadelphia fans. But everyone loves us. Everyone talks about us with reverence, with respect. And coming off of last year, 12-5 in year one of this thing with a rookie quarterback, 60 minutes away from the Super Bowl in year one. Why not put this team on Hard Knocks? We're interesting. We have personality. We're one of the ascending and rising teams in this league. It's the nation's capital. You get to see the process of us trying to go get a new stadium. It's so many reasons. And it's Jaden Daniels. They want this kid to be propped up as one of the centerpieces of this league. What better opportunity than to put us on Hard Knocks? The Chicago Bears were on there during the training camp portion. The Giants were on the offseason. We will never see offseason Hard Knocks covering NFL offseason ever again, because it was like watching all the family secrets and family business get spilled out for an audience of millions last year. It was riveting. It was phenomenal TV. And I hate that I love that it was them instead of us. And the AFC North were the teams featured during the in-season versions of it. I want Washington to be the training camp version of Hard Knocks this year. I want people to see Jaden and how he prepares, how mentally savvy he is, all the homework. It's no accident that this guy is great. They're going to do a whole segment of it, of him doing the VR training and how he dials up a lot of the looks and coverages and stuff he sees into his little VR machine. Just follow Jaden Daniels around. Mikey Sainris still doing side missions and side quests as a videographer this offseason. Frankie Luke. We have characters for days. We have a front office that's interesting, entertaining, and professional. A coaching staff people will love, and an ownership group trying to make its name in this league. There is no better time than right now for Washington to be the team covered in Hard Knocks this year. Let me know what y'all would think about that. Or if you would prefer to be the division that's covered during in-season Hard Knocks. You see, my patience has run out. I want to get to training camp already. What better then we could literally have watch parties. We could literally do a watch party of Hard Knocks, just like we do on game day. We all watch it together as a team and react in real time. Man, I need that because it's a long, slow spring and summer, and we want to get back to football. And I've always been for. I don't believe the show is that much of a distraction. If your guys are locked in and they know how to do their job, I trust the coaches, the front office. I trust the entire ecosystem that's in Ortho Virginia Training Center at Ashburn Park or Commanders Park or whatever they call it now. I trust them to have guys locked in, focused, and I don't think a TV show. Hard Knocks was not the reason that the Bears were ass last year. Hard Knocks did not ruin their season. Hard Knocks didn't complete a Hail Mary that killed their morale for the duration of the 2024 season. They did that. Horrible coaching did that, and a lack of cohesion throughout a pretty good roster is why they didn't finish. So I don't think Hard Knocks is big enough a distraction that would deter us from wanting to be on it. But let me see. Washington announced its off-season training dates. First day of off-season workout starts this month, 2 days before the NFL draft on April 22nd. OTAs start on May 28th, and they got them on May 28th, May 30th, June 3rd and 4th, and June 6th. And our mandatory minicamp is from June 10th through June 12th. Let me do that one more time. Matter of fact, let me pop that up on the screen for you guys real quick. They announced all the dates of our OTAs and stuff. I know for those of you that are obsessed like myself, we follow along all of these things. We follow along the entire ride of the off season because we're fiends. We're fiends, and we need our hit of Commanders anything. First day of off-season workouts is April 22nd. OTAs are May 28th, May 30th, June 3rd and 4th, June 6th, and mandatory mini camp where everybody has to show up present June 10th through June 12th. And mini camp is actually fun because that's the closest thing to a training camp full speed practice that we're going to get until late July, early August. So this is all we got. We got the draft on the 24th through the 26th. We got all of these off-season workouts and then a bunch of nothing until the preseason and regular season begin in 2024 or in 2025. Sorry. We had a couple guys change numbers because if you follow this channel and you know me, hashtag numbers matter. Numbers matter to morale, swag, drip. If you played sports growing up, numbers matter. On-field drip matters. Marshawn Lattimore is going back to his number 2 that he wore at Ohio State. Hopefully we can see Marshawn return to form and start playing like Marshawn Lattimore that was at Ohio State. You got a full spring and summer to gain cohesion with guys, to fit in instead of fitting out. There's no excuse for Marshawn to not look like himself this year, and no hamstring issue to boot. So Marshawn is going back to number 2. Christian McCaffrey went down 1 number. He will be wearing the jersey last worn by Jeremy Chin here at number 11. Number 11 for Luke McCaffrey. Shout out to Luke. Hopefully we see some more production out of him and we see him start to develop into a contributor in year 2 here. Tunzel, I believe, is staying in his 78, and Debo will be wearing number 1. Like my boy Pascal brought up in the group chat earlier, now 0, 1, and 2 award by ballers. Actual ballers. Instead of Igbenogany, Debo steps into that number 1. We know Sandra Still's number 0. And instead of De'Ami Brown, whose only claim to fame was 1 postseason run of 2 games, Marshawn Lattimore is wearing number 2 now. And we expect a lot more out of Marshawn Lattimore in year 2 here in DC. Washington signed an international pathway player today. We're trying to take the Philadelphia Eagles path of turning a rugby player into maybe a contributor, maybe could make the roster one day. You never know. But we signed TJ Magaranyanga. I don't know how to say that. Now I'm going to try it one more time. TJ Magaranyanga. When the offseason program begins on April 22nd, he'll be their international pathway program player. That player does not count against or for a roster spot. So, you know, he's kind of just there for vibes and to see what they can get out of him. You know, some of these dudes, we've seen F.A. Obata and some of these international guys find a spot, a niche and a little role here for the team. I have no expectations, but if you want to hear a more detailed preview on that guy, go over to my boy Rico's channel. My boy Street Scores. He's probably going to have a full rundown for you of his athletic freakness, because you know how Rico do and how that analytical brain of his works. But it's very slow right now on the Washington front. Dallas made a big trade today. They're playing backup quarterback roulette instead of Trey Lance. It is now Joe Milton. They go trade for Drake May's backup quarterback, Joe Milton, a big arm, talented, but very raw project type quarterback who was actually seeking a starting or somewhere where he could compete to start. It ain't going to happen in Dallas, my guy. Dak, $60 million a year, man, $90 million cap hit before they had to restructure it. You're not going to see the field over there unless Rain Dakota gets hurt again. I don't want that. I want Rain Dakota Prescott healthy. You know, I don't want to hear any excuses from Dallas Cowboys fans when we get in that ass this year, because we owe them one, because they're one of the few teams that actually stymied Jaden Daniels and our offense for the majority of time that we played them in 2024. But I'm not going to keep y'all here all day. I just think that we should be on Hard Knocks this year. Couple numbers changed. I'm not going to sit here and over regurgitate things that we're going to talk about during the stream. We live tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know what it is. Mock Draft Mania all day. We probably go for a couple hours. Let's do some trade ups, some trade downs. Let's stick and pick. And Let's count down these days to the NFL draft. We got 21 days, 3 weeks exactly until then. I'm going to manifest it. I need Washington on Hard Knocks Training Camp Edition in 2025. Crossing my fingers, speaking it to an existence. I will talk to y'all soon. Hail to the Washington Commanders. Rio.